Page 25 in your blue packet, we are looking at number 13. So again, on this page, you are responsible for the even numbers except for number 12. If we go through number 13, this is a little bit unique compared to the last one we did, because when we look at these coefficients, our A, our B, and our C value, they have a value we can pull out. So they have a common factor, and that common factor is 3. I can divide each of these by 3. So when I do that, what happens is I have a 3 that goes on the outside of my parentheses, and now I keep everything inside the same order. I'm just removing the 3 via division. So 6x squared divided by 3 would be 2x squared. Negative 21x divided by 3 would be a negative 7x. And negative 45 divided by 3 would be a negative 15. So now I have a much smaller set for my coefficients in order to do my x setup. I still have A times C and B, but this is my new A, this is my new B, and this is my new C. I do not need to include that 3, which is outside of the parentheses. So I have 2 times a negative 15 would be negative 30, and I don't change that B value. I keep it as a negative 7. So I'm going to list out my factors of negative 30. Remember, one of them will have to be negative and one of them will have to be positive. So I can have a negative 1 times 30 or 1 times negative 30. I can have negative 2 times 15 or 2 times a negative 15. Negative 3 times 10 or 3 times a negative 10. And then I can have negative 5 times 6 or 5 times negative 6. I'm looking for values that when I add them together, the sum would be a negative 7. So the larger number, the one with the greater absolute value, has to be the negative. So I'm going to be looking in this column here, and I can see that I would get a negative 7 here. So a 3 and a negative 10. That's what goes inside your boxes now, just like we've been doing. And you keep your same A value, so 2x squared. Now we have a 3x and a negative 10x, and then we keep that negative 15, which we found as our new C value. So now we're going to do each column and each row. Here I see that this first column actually has a 2x in common. And the second column has a positive 3. First row only has an x in common, which makes sense because 2x times x would give me 2x squared. Then the second row has a negative 5. So when I write out my factors, I would have parentheses, the quantity of 2x plus 3, close those parentheses up, times the quantity of x minus 5.